Hello, fourth graders. So today we're going to go outside on the nature preserve here at CREA, and we're going to explore some of the ways in real life that this break it, take it, drop it is happening. And as a reminder, a rock that was rough after a long time will likely be smoothed. And what is the number one thing in nature that causes that? It's actually water. So I want everyone for just a moment to make a nubby rock with your hand. So a bumpy looking rock. And imagine that there's a river scraping by that rock for a couple hundred years. There's not just water in the river, there's sand in there too. It's kind of like sandpaper. So try that. Everyone make your nubby rock and then pretend 1,000 years goes by. And now that rock will be smoothed out. We're going to keep an eye out for that on our walk around in the nature preserve today. And the other thing is, think of a waterfall. Make your nubby rock. And then at the bottom of a waterfall, what is going to happen is that's going to get smoothed out. So keep an eye out for those things today. And there's one other thing about water. When it freezes, make a rock like this. Imagine there's a little crack in the rock. If water gets in and freezes, when water freezes, it actually expands a little, it gets a little bigger. So it cracks open that rock a little bit more. And then maybe the next winter, more water gets in and it freezes again and again. And eventually you've got two rocks instead of the one. So ice is a really powerful breaker as well when it comes to rocks. There's a riddle and it says, what's stronger, rock or water? So if you had to think about that for a minute, your rock, obviously really strong, but water is stronger if it has time, if it has hundreds or even thousands of years to scrape away those rough parts on the end until it's smooth. So as you're on the lookout for the break it, keep in mind that rocks can break in all different sizes and all different ways. There can be big breaks, there can be tiny breaks. If you look at this rock here, here's a really big break. This one got sliced off at some point. This one also got broken off. So we're going to keep a lookout for how the rocks break. Some of them will be more dramatic than others. So on our walk around the nature preserve today, be on the lookout for break it, take it, and drop it. We should be able to see all three.
So here's a pretty normal looking rock. You might find a rock like this if you go walking around in the woods or near your house. And at first you might not notice, but during your scavenger hunt, when you're on the lookout for break it, look closely because a surprising number of rocks have chunks broken out of them. It's pretty common to find. I actually saw a few when I was on the walking path today, and one of them was right in the middle of the trail.
Now, what do you think caused this break? It's obviously not in a river. Any guesses? Maybe some ice got into a little crack that was here and pushed it off? It's hard to know. We can't tell for sure. But something definitely broke that piece of rock. And my next question is, where did it go? Is it maybe this one that's buried underneath? Where did that rock go next?
Usually you can't figure out exactly what happened, but you can look around for clues and make a good guess. So take a look here. In this case, you can see that there's some pieces of rock that got broken off that are huge, not just tiny little pieces, but really, really big. Do you have any guesses about what caused that to happen?
So I have a suspicion that, see those rocks that are in the water? They're like rectangular shaped rocks. I have a suspicion that they used to be stacked, just like the other rocks, kind of a little stack, you see? And then I think that some ice got into the cracks and those big rocks fell off from their stack, or fell off from the staircase. Do you see those rocks in the water? I don't think they were always there. So that is an example of break it. weathering that's pretty dramatic. In that case, we're not talking about little tiny pieces of rock of sand size getting broken off. We're talking about a big rock getting broken off.
So do you think that could happen again? Look across. Do you see any cracks in the rock where it looks like tree roots could get in or ice could get in and gradually break that rock apart a little bit more year by year? Until eventually a big chunk might fall and crash right into the river.
So here's one of the most beautiful places at CREA. This river is the Cathance River. And what do you see happening here in terms of the rocks changing? What's happening? How do you think this place might have looked different thousands of years ago? Take a look.
So just watch the river for a minute and think about our riddle about which is stronger, water or rock. And as you're looking at the river, check out, do you see there's a little like tiny cave on the far side? It looks like a dark spot. Do you think that was always a cave, or do you think there used to be rock there?
That river is scraping by, breaking off little tiny pieces of rock as it goes. And you can hear the power in the river. Do you hear the rapids? So that really powerful water is scraping and breaking little pieces off those rocks. And if we walked along the bottom, I bet it would feel smooth with our bare feet, because those rocks must be nice and smooth by now. Where are the little pieces of rocks getting taken? Let's look down this way. They're going and going and going and going. And believe it or not, the Cathance River goes all the way into Merry Meeting Bay and then hooks a right-hand turn down the Kennebec and goes all the way to Popham Beach. So some of these little pieces of rock that are getting broken off and taken away could end up at Popham Beach.
And here's the Cathance River continuing its journey onward towards the ocean, scraping away, carving away, smoothing out all the rocks along its path. Still going. Check out those caves in the background there. Those got carved away by the water too. And now in this part of the river, you can see there's still some little rapids, but it's not quite as crazy powerful as before. Not quite as much break-it happening there. But then something changes up here. All of a sudden, the rapids come to an end. They completely stop.
So here we are in a kind of special place in the river. We've been having lots and lots of right? Erosion. All the little pieces of sand that got broken off, all the sediments, all the dirt that got washed away has been traveling down the river. And now look. Do you see way out? It gets flat calm. So as soon as the river stops moving and gets flat calm, what happens is it's the dropping. All those sediments, all those pieces of sand get dropped. And I have a suspicion. What do you notice growing on the far side over there where it's calm water? See all the green plants? I think all the sediment that got carried down the river through these crazy rapids is finally getting dropped. So there's some dirt there that the plants can grow out of.
So that's where we're going to end our tour today. Remember that this is a place you can come and visit anytime you want. It's a land trust property, so it's free, it's open to the public. You can come and hike these trails, wander along the river, any day of the year that you want to come explore. We've seen some pretty neat sections, some of the waterfalls, the rapids, the rushing river, and we've also seen some places where weathering and erosion was happening caused by plant roots or ice getting into cracks. So when you go on your scavenger hunt to look for weathering and erosion and deposition in your neighborhood, you're probably not going to have a crazy raging river like this, but there will be other examples that you can find. So come visit us here sometime to check out this river, and in the meantime, have fun exploring your own neighborhood and backyard.